We have this idea that we need to be in the mood to write. We don't. Morning pages will teach you that your mood doesn't really matter. Some of the best creative work gets done on the days when you feel that everything you're doing is just plain junk. The morning pages will teach you to stop judging and just let yourself write. Hello, my name is Connor Carey, and this has been a long time since I've done a video. Oh my, I'm back. And today we're talking about morning pages. If you aren't familiar, morning pages is a journaling technique developed by Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way. Welcome. This is the video version of my blog post on this topic, which you can find in the description box below or connorcarey.com/morning-pages. All right, let's jump in. What are morning pages? So in The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron gives the artist a few basic tools for this course. Morning pages is one of those tools. The way that she describes the purpose of morning pages is this. In order to retrieve your creativity, you need to find it. I ask you to do this by an apparently pointless process I call the morning pages. Put simply, the morning pages are 3 pages of longhand writing, strictly stream of consciousness. In short, morning pages are a process of purging the surface layer of thoughts, emotions, daily tasks, anxieties, and concerns onto the page, directly from your mind, without stopping to think, judge, edit, or analyze what you're writing. Sweep your mind like it's a room and have a fresher headspace for the day. So if morning pages uses the stream of consciousness technique, what is stream of consciousness writing? Stream of consciousness writing is taking your inner monologue and writing it directly onto the page. There's no gap between what arises in your mind and what you write onto the page. So Oregon State has a really lovely definition of this that I want to reference. Narration that includes a lot of free association, looping repetitions, sensory observations, and strange punctuation or syntax. I like this definition because it removes the need to write well or grammatically correct, or even within the lines. I actually end up writing more pages because I like to write big and messy. It allows me to have even less thought and less interruption between what is coming up for me and what I need to put down. Morning pages are a judgment-free zone. So much so that even you aren't supposed to go back and reread or analyze your morning pages. Julia Cameron recommends treating it as sort of taking the garbage out. You don't need to go back through it. That being said, sometimes I end up writing little gems, and I will go back because I wrote so much of my morning pages that it became creativity, and I ended up getting into my creativity for the day by clearing it out with the morning pages first. How to write morning pages. Super simple 3-step process. Set aside 30 minutes in the morning to write. Show up with pen and paper or your computer, not your smartphone. You're going to write 3 pages of non-stop stream of consciousness writing, or 750 words if you're on the computer. Here's the biggest advice I have. Lower the barrier to starting, whatever that means for you. If that means saying, I'm only gonna write 1 page or 1 paragraph, if that's what it takes to get you writing, just do that. Just agree to write 1 page or 1 paragraph. And once you get going, then you'll probably want to keep going, but if not, you can stop and congratulate yourself because you did it, you showed up, you're amazing. That's the attitude that all of us working adults with anxieties and traumas and shame around creativity, that's the approach that we need to take. Instead of berating yourself for doing it, not doing it, doing it well, not doing it well, show up just a tiny bit, because everyone is an artist. And everyone has creativity, and I would venture to say a desire to express and create something from nothing. But life is full of so much, and it takes a lot of intentionality to slow down enough and be creative. And the morning pages are a ritual of slowing down and sweeping out the dust and the cobwebs from your creative bank and allowing it to refill so you can bask and enjoy and be filled with joy as you create. What are the top 3 benefits of morning pages? You become friends with your inner critic. That inner critic voice is not yours. You absorbed it, picked it up somewhere along the way, and have carried it. But it is not natural. It is not of you. It does not even belong to you. Morning pages teach you through the repetition of them to depersonalize that voice. I actually believe that oftentimes that voice is our artist child trying to protect us now. And so it can be helpful when that voice comes up to turn to it and treat it as a toddler, as your child self, and say to it, thank you. I recognize that we learned this at some point, and it has done a great job of protecting us. But we are strong, we are grown, and we don't need this form of protection anymore. We have learned that supportive words are just as powerful as critical ones. In fact, far more powerful. So part of this process is you are teaching yourself that it is okay to make mistakes or create something silly. Not everything about creativity needs to be about producing an end product. When we know that it's okay to write something bad, which is to say, write something without any pressure for it to be good. There's a freedom to put on the page exactly what arises. The second major benefit of morning pages helps you ground yourself. When I regularly write morning pages, my inner voice is clearer, my intuition is sharper, and my love of life is crisper. I have always been at odds with normalcy. Over the years, I have learned to embrace the unique strangeness that I am. I have learned that unique strangeness is what delights me. It's where my passion and curiosity leads. This closeness with myself also helps to protect my mental health from the world's delusions of who I am. It reminds me that I get to decide. I can write toward hope, and that's a powerful practice. You experience creative flow much more easily, automatically, and more often. Morning pages clears away the gunk in my mind. This leaves a lot of extra room for creativity to fill in. I find I am more inspired to write poems and songs when I am writing morning pages. Not only is the inspiration and the call to inspiration stronger, but I am more easily able to step into the creative flow. Too many brilliant creatives rely on inspiration to get the work done. But it is the consistent discipline of doing a thing that allows your brain to create the pathways that allow for that free thinking and great improvisation when you're writing, singing, creating in any way. Let's discuss 3 reasons that I've noticed people stop, sometimes why I've stopped writing morning pages. Ideally, this will help you come to these blocks and overcome them and be able to more consistently keep up a journaling practice like morning pages. People stop writing morning pages because they get bored. Yeah, morning pages can be pretty boring in the way that a self-care routine is. It's not super exciting to brush your teeth or take your medication, but you recognize the benefits of it. And you recognize that those benefits are truly achieved through the consistency of doing the thing. I think often people find morning pages to be boring because once you do them a while, you do tend to fall into a rut of talking about the same thing. While morning pages are stream of consciousness and you just let it all fall out, if you find that happening, pay attention to any diversions you start to go down and follow it and see where it goes. This happened to me just this morning. I started to talk about something and then I was gonna brush by it and talk about my goals for the day, which I love to do in my morning pages to avoid emotions. And instead I went with it. I leaned into it and ended up discovering something that felt very healing, writing out some affirmations that I shared on my Instagram. It ended up grounding me in a much more palpable way than if I had allowed myself to stay more surface level and talk about my goals for the day. They become too strict about writing daily. Abandon an all or nothing mindset. Remember that morning pages is a tool that is always available to you. It's not going anywhere. Instead of putting pressure on yourself to show up every single day, try to shoot for 3 days a week. That's how I'm learning piano. Lord knows, it's tough. It's a whole new language, and that can be overwhelming. I recognize that journaling daily, confronting your own thoughts can be incredibly overwhelming. You don't have to show up every day to be doing a phenomenal job. Yes, there are tremendous benefits to being consistent, to writing every day, but don't let the fact that you've stopped writing them or don't write them every day, don't let there be an excuse not to start again, or not to start today, or not to just pick up your journal when you feel like you need to. In life, you deserve to try and try and try and try and try again, as many times as it takes. There's no reason to stop. I think when we try and try again, we get discouraged because we feel like, well, I should have accomplished it on that last try. But if we have some compassion for ourselves, we can look back at that last try and see that we gained a lot more knowledge, a lot more insight, a lot more confidence. This is like the second or third time I've started creating content for my YouTube channel. I have faced so many thoughts of, you didn't do it, you're not gonna do it, you haven't been consistent, so you ain't gonna be. But I want to. And today I chose to show up. So that means I can do it again. It has to start that simple, and it has to be self-loving. Last but certainly not least, people stop writing morning pages because they get tired of their own negativity. Yeah, it's easy to do, especially if you've got a lot of grief or trauma that you've been handling expertly. Morning pages isn't gonna allow you to retain unprocessed emotions. Sorry. I know it is a lot easier to perform in life when we stay engaged in the busyness, but your responsibility to your life purpose will come calling, and it probably won't be so much of a siren song as an air horn. I wrote that line and then a week later I got fired from my job. Laid off, not fired, but the grief, loneliness, pain, guilt, anxiety, none of it will make you a better artist. If you have access, therapy is great. EMDR is very helpful for trauma. Beyond that, how can you prioritize yourself? How can you encourage balance in your life? How can you set boundaries to protect your well-being? I have found morning pages to be an incredible tool for creativity, mental health, connection with myself. They are not a replacement for community care. Nothing is. This world isn't set up for easy access to community care. But know there are people out there who will listen with care, who will envelop you in softness and love. Ultimately, only you can decide if morning pages are helping or exacerbating something you're not ready to tackle. That's okay too. Trust your wisdom. Morning pages teach you to feel more comfortable in your creativity. I hope you will start to write them. Please let me know how I can support you in writing them. So I'm an SEO writer by trade. That is how I make money, which is why I am going to be creating content on how to make money with a blog. I've done this for other companies, and now I'm working on doing it for myself. So I hope you will jump into the description box and go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, or go to connorcarey.com. I've got lots of plans for what I want to create, and I hope you will follow along. Also, if you like this video, like, subscribe, do the YouTube things. Please and thank you.